movie and television studio. I'm going to show you how we make movies out here. What was that? His birthday was the other day. Well, happy birthday the other day.
You guys can move forward here. You guys can come on through. Come forward.
Good morning. Thank you.
Over you to get to their seats. It works out for everyone. Of course, once the gates close, you wash your hands, watch your toes, and then if there's room to spread out, feel free to do so. We're going to be hanging out with each other for about 45 minutes to an hour, so we want you as comfortable as possible. If you're traveling with any smaller people whose feet do not touch the bottom of the tram floor like your kids, move them to the center of the row, at least one away from the gate. There's going to be a lot of moving and shaking and bouncing. Got to keep the babies safe as well as the very short adults. I have no idea how full we're going to get, so we're going to make this one of the last calls, if not the last call for 3D glasses. So if you do not have a pair, put your hand in the air, wave it around like you just don't care. Part 2, if you need glasses, wave wildly. It's a little hard to see you back there. No, but see, now I see that you're waving the glasses. So we'll try this. If you need a pair of 3D glasses, wave your hand wildly. Okay, I don't see any hands, but I love your enthusiasm. I appreciate it. Hold on to those glasses, everybody. You do not need to wear them yet because the world is currently in 3D, technically 4D. The screen is in 2D, and that will not change. I'm going to make sure you know when to put them on, okay? So who am I? I'm your guide. My name is Danny. Hi, everyone. Hello. Hey, Cartoon. I see y'all back there. As your guide, it's my job to lift the veil of secrecy on some of Hollywood's hottest filming locations, which is a fancy way of saying I'm going to ruin movie magic for you. Yay! Get into it. Yay! Ruined. But the best possible way. You are going to leave this tour feeling and sounding like an industry professional, and who don't want that, right? We're going to do it all in a real working movie and television studio where your favorite artists go to work every single day. It's where we film The Voice. It's where we film The Kelly Clarkson Show. It's where we're headed to right now. We've left the theme park behind. We are heading into that movie studio. And even though I'm really good at my job, which again is to ruin movie magic for all of you, I can't do it on my own. You do not want me driving a tram backwards or forwards. And that is why we have our wonderful driver. His name is TJ. Everybody say, hey, TJ.
Hey, TJ.
TJ said, hey. I also have a co-host. You probably recognize him from The Tonight Show, or maybe his new show, That's My Jam on NBC. It's my friend in my head, Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hey there. You made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide.
Danny.
And the greatest driver.
TJ.
They're the best. I love them. Even though
Danny
owes me $5.
Rude.
I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
That's right. I do have a few safety rules for us to go over before we get too far into this. And here, well, oh, okay, let's see. Hold on a second. All of a sudden it is not working. Let's try this. There it is. Woo, weird. Okay, here they are. First, if you're having a medical emergency, you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or you have your possibly audio or visual equipment. If you look up, there's a red cord. It runs from the front to the back of the car. Pull that down. I'll come back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Looks like this. Please remain seated at all times. Keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle. The studio is private property, so if you drop your phone or need to use the restroom, pull the cord and remain seated. Please no smoking of any kind. And be prepared. Our tour today features loud noises, sudden tram movements, fire effects, and water effects. When heavy cameras offer great photo opportunities, we keep an eye on them so they don't get wet. Finally, for your safety and those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while on board the tram. Alright everybody, you've been making your way down our timeline. You've been looking at movie posters. They represent just a handful of the over 8,000 movies we've made ever since our founder Carl Lemley opened up the doors March 15, 1915. It makes us almost 108 years old. We are the oldest, the biggest, and the busiest movie studio here in Hollywood. Basically, we're the best. Welcome to our front lot. Now, the front lot has a lot going on. Editing bays, casting offices. Let's first talk sound stages because, well, that's the first thing you're going to see. Soundstage 12 over on your left-hand side. So we filmed the first 20 seasons of The Voice. The logo, so right there in front. We recently moved that show to another soundstage on our lot because there was a lot of construction going on around here. Super Nintendo World. But here are a few other productions that have filmed inside of Soundstage 12.
Right.
Say hello to my little friend.
Right now we're driving by sound stages 11 through 7. Inside the sound stages 11, 10, and 9, we show Grand Crew starring Nicole Byer films. You might recognize her as the host from Nailed It on Netflix. Inside the sound stages 8, 7, and 14, we film Bel Air, which streaks on Peacock. It's a reimagined version of The Fresh Prince of Bel Air from the 90s, but this time instead of a comedy, it's a drama. Inside the same exact sound stages, HBO Max filmed the first 2 seasons of their show Hacks, starring Gene Smart. Now throughout the tour, I have to keep my eyes open, head on a swivel, looking for signs of active filming. When we're driving by the sound stages, I'm looking at the red lights on the sides of them. Those are called wigwag lights. If they're blinking and flashing or glowing bright red, it means you're filming inside, and that's a cue for me to hop off the mic. Our sound stages are 98% soundproof, but that 2% can still ruin production. And for whatever reason, they don't want to hear my lovely melodious voice with a slight regional accent on their soundtrack. I don't get it. But I like my job, so I respect it. On your left, we're driving by the base camp for the show Bel Air. A base camp is where you'll find production trucks, hair, makeup, wardrobe, trailers for the actors. It's also where they built the base camp for the show Superstore, because Cloud 9 was built inside of Soundstage 14.
I know it's hot in here, but let's have some patience for one another.
Yeah, you know, the heat makes us all act.
If your face stays where it is, it's gonna get punched.
Many moons ago, another big production film inside of Soundstage 14, Apollo 13.
Realism was an essential element for Apollo 13. After all, we were recreating an important moment in American history, a moment many Americans witnessed on television. We thought about filming in Houston, Texas, where the original control room for the Apollo mission still exists. Unfortunately, NASA's engineers didn't have filmmaking in mind when they built Mission Control. Since there was no room for the elaborate camera cranes and tracks we needed for the shots, we had to build our own Mission Control. Everything had to be exact, even down to the tiniest detail.
Some know that clip says shot on stage 21, but that's because as the theme park expands, so must the movie studio. So they've been building new sound stages, renaming the old ones. The sound stages on your right are where we're now filming Quantum Leap starring Raymond Lee. We brought that 90s classic back, and it's the sequel to the original show starring Scott Bakula. On your left, we're going to drive by Ted, who's day drinking, because why not? Ted is also getting his own television show. It's going to be a prequel to the movies, and again, stream on Peacock, so basically you gotta get Peacock. He's standing in front of our bungalows. These bungalows were used as dressing rooms during the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Actors were contracted to work with one studio at a time. The contract could last like 10 years. So when we were working with big stars like Elizabeth Taylor and Jimmy Stewart, these were their homes away from home. They needed something more permanent than the trailers we use today. Now they're offices for writers, directors, and production companies. We're driving by parking spots labeled for $7 Productions. That is The Rock's production company. Next, you'll see signs for Monkey Paw Productions. That's Jordan Peele's production company. After that, you'll see a sign that says MP. That stands for Mark Platt Productions. He's bringing us Wicked to the big screen December 2024. And then, Buffalo 5195. It's currently home to the De Laurentiis Company. And before then, it was Alfred Hitchcock's office. stages over on your left, they're pretty new, very high tech. Inside of here, George Lopez has been filming his new show, Lopez versus Lopez. It's also where we filmed a reboot of Will and Grace, one of our favorite shows of all time. But the first production of film here was Hairspray Live. They filmed their interior scenes inside the sound stages. Then when they needed to dance around the city streets of Baltimore, they just crossed from the front lot to the back lot, which is what we're going to do in a moment. So the back lot is where we have all of our large exterior sets. We film our outdoor scenes on a large scale. The area that you're looking at is sort of behind me and in front of you and over on your left. These are our metropolitan sets, and they got that name because they've been turned into just about every major city that you can think of. The main reason to use the backlot set instead of an actual city street is control. Filmmakers have to be able to control the environment that they're working in, and that's what a backlot set can give to you. That's why American Ninja Warrior, which airs on NBC Monday nights, films here instead of filming in the middle of Times Square. If you're going to film in Times Square, you got to pay to shut down Times Square. Then you have to hire a bunch of officers to make sure pedestrians don't get in the way. It's much easier and cheaper to film in a backlot set. That's exactly what they do. Captain America, The First Avenger. The scene where after he was shot with the serum and he's chasing after the bad guy. He's maneuvering around people, in and out of buildings. You have to coordinate action like that. So they filmed it here on New York Street instead of filming actually in New York. Chicago. This was turned into Chicago on the Blues Brothers. The majority of the Blues Brothers film on location in Chicago, but when it came to the one scene, decided to drop a car from a highway, have it land in the street, create a massive hole. They decided, yeah, let's use a backlot set. That glass building was Oscorp. This was London and Austin Powers' The Spy Who Shagged Me. Paris and Billie Eilish's Amazon Prime concert. We're moving on from the urban jungle to another jungle, Skull Island.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up on the edge. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along the ride.
Please remain seated at all times. Hold on to your belongings as well as your loved ones. Welcome to Skull Island.
Everybody, we're back in Skull Island.
For King Kong 363D. everyone. I have a feeling you might need them later on in the tour. That was King Kong 360 3D, one of the largest, most intense 3D experiences on this planet. It was brought to you by Peter Jackson, as well as the filmmakers at Weta FX. They're a team out in New Zealand, and they know what they're doing when it comes to special effects. They've won 6 Academy Awards for their work in film. They worked on movies like Avatar, Wonder Woman, The Lord of the Rings, Wonder Woman 1984, The Hobbit trilogy, and Marvel movies like Shang-Chi. You witnessed that epic battle on 4 screens. They stand at 40 feet tall, 180 feet long, and they use some of the world's most advanced filmmaking technology today.
With a studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side. Working on a movie, we always know where people are looking. They're looking straight ahead. They're looking at the shot that we're working on. Here, you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this, a lot of times the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
They really create you about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting it to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
So that's a great example of how filmmakers can create an entire world using only CGI, computer-generated imagery, special effects. But usually they'll combine CGI with something physical, like a backlot set, or maybe a picture car. A picture car is any vehicle you see on screen, whether it's television, film, or streaming online. And TJ is taking us to see some of Universal's most popular picture cars ever. So this is a good time to pull out your cameras and phones. We have some cool cars coming up on your left-hand side. Look out! Used to create picture cars so that we can ruin it. They're not made out of what you think. The Flintstones cars, those were modified golf carts. The Ferrari used a Magnum PI, has a Volkswagen engine, a dune buggy frame, and a fiberglass shell. And you might have noticed something was missing from the gyrosphere that was used in Jurassic World. That glass shield, right? That's because it never existed. Glass is tricky to film with. If it's not angled perfectly, everything in the background reflects off of it, shows up on camera. So instead of trying to angle a glass dome, they created it out of CGI. There's also usually multiple versions of a picture car. Minimum, you have the hero car, has all the bells and whistles and details, it's front of the camera the most, and then the step car, a little less detailed, made out of cheaper material, and is the one we tend to blow up. And then, various renditions in between. But we're moving on from those Fast and Furious cars, so let's head over to see some ferocious animals.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
On either side of you are set decorations and picture cars. They're used in Jurassic Park and the Lost World Jurassic Park. They're rented by Steven Spielberg. Coming up on your left, you'll see the mobile lab that was used in the Lost World Jurassic Park. This picture car is made out of wood. And, of course, our dinosaurs. Where are the dinosaurs? Seriously, where are the dinosaurs? I'm not seeing the dinosaurs now. Okay, well, wait a minute, here's one of them. But I think the others are missing. That is crazy. Who's ever heard of dinosaurs just escaping and running around. Like, what? Oh, well. Instead of introducing you to our dinosaurs, how about I show you a scene and use the mobile lab we passed? Explain to you how it was done. So this is that same wooded mobile lab we drove by just a moment ago. That, however, is not a cliff in Costa Rica. That's a parking structure we passed by during the beginning of the tour. In order to make this scene happen, they took a crane, picked up the mobile lab, dangled it over the side of the building. The cherry on top was that they made it rain. Why? Because weather affects us emotionally. It's a vibe. So we brought you into old Mexico so we can show you how to create a little Hollywood storm. Like most storms, ours starts off with a little bit of lightning, a little bit of thunder. We let that go on for a bit, and then at the perfect moments, we make it rain. So this is how we make it rain in the movies, folks. We use a highly sophisticated and intricate system called a sprinkler. Yeah, a sprinkler. Now here's the thing. You might notice there's a bit of a difference between Hollywood rain and regular rain, right? A couple of things. One, Hollywood rain is only falling on one side, or at least in specific places. We only need to fall where the actor would be standing, where the camera would be facing. The rest of it, we don't care. Also, the raindrops are larger than you're used to seeing in nature. That's because if you take a picture of real rain, you barely see it. Think of the football and what is going on down here. Oh, no. Remember when I said there were water effects on this tour? Well, that was our flood. Thousands of gallons of water out it takes at the top of the hill. All we do is open up the floodgates, the water runs down, splashes up in your face, goes right back up again. But you're glad you have those screens now, aren't you? That flood was used in the movie Big Fat Liar, starring Paul Giamatti, Amanda Bynes, and Frankie Muniz.
You can't outrun the wolf king! Yeah, look at that.
By the way, that is Paul Giamatti. That is Paul Giamatti's stunt double. But you know who really got hit by our flood? Lady Gaga in her music video for Judas. She stood in front of that flood, got hit in the face over and over again for our viewing pleasure. But with the splash repulsive water from Mexico into the wild, wild west. Welcome to 6 Points, Texas, y'all. This is where some of the biggest and baddest movie and television cowboys have filmed. Like Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Audie Murphy filmed here, Clint Eastwood, Jimmy Stewart, and the baddest Jimmy of them all, Jimmy Fallon.
This town ain't big enough for the both of us, Jimmy Fallon. Well, I ain't going anywhere, Jimmy Fallon. Now look here. Nice folks in this tram don't want no trouble. They just want to check out 6 sets on the Universal ride.
I hear this is where John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart shot a few of their westerns.
That's right. That's where I aim to shoot here.
Looks like we got ourselves a Mexican standoff. Lucky shot.
Now let's see you mount up and get out of town while we're getting good.
All right. Well, I'll see you again, Fallon.
Oh, you can count on it. Now get.
This is the beginning of music French.
We're just gonna come down, that's all.
Tour, everyone. So I must remind you to please remain seated at all times, and if you need my assistance, pull the red emergency cord. I'll come back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. If you look over on your left-hand side through these trees, you're going to see 4 last sound stages. Inside of there, we filmed the American Song Contest with those Kelly Clarkson and Snoop Dogg. It's also where Jordan Peele filmed a few scenes for his movie Get Out. The area in front of it we call Park Lake, because there's a lake, and the trees look like a park. been used to film a lot of pickup shots. Let's say you film a scene in Central Park, New York. You get back to LA, you look at the footage, you're like, I want to change it a bit. Instead of going all the way back to New York, you just come here, place your actors in those trees, zoom in closely, and refilm the part you don't like. When you edit all the footage together, it looks like you're in Central Park the entire time. That's a pickup shot. The set we're driving into right now is called Little Europe, and it's been used the same way. Pickup shots, establishing shots. Maybe you don't want to go to Europe at all. Just come here, dress this set up to like whatever European country you want it to be. Nobody knows the difference. This is where Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy had their romantic Parisian date in the 2011 Muppet movie. Nobody had a clue. It's even been turned into fake European countries, like Genovia and the Princess Diaries too. Right now it's not really dressed like a country though, but it is dressed like a place. The good place.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are dead.
Cool.
Just look at the afterlife.
I've never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. Henry's going to the bad place.
Maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
As we drive through Little Europe, take note of the bright pastel colors, the flowers, the signs. This is all art design and set decoration. Everything is very specifically chosen to help tell the story. Then as you drive around the backside of Little Europe, you'll notice it looks completely different. That's because The Good Place didn't film back here, so they didn't need to do anything to this part of the set. This is a little closer to what all of Little Europe looked like during the late 20s, early 30s, when we invented the monster movie. Movies like Frankenstein and Dracula, they filmed in Little Europe and went on to create the horror genre as we know it today.
Listen now, the monster. He's in the woods. Get out of that house. Freeze all the men you can, lock the women indoors, and wait for me. Are you ready? Go! Go, horses, and go!
And now we're entering Soundstage 50, so I know I just reminded you to stay seated, but I have to do it again. That's because there's a mechanical effect that was built into the walls of this soundstage. Now it's been turned off because we're in here, but you know, something you need to be made aware of. Actually, that effect is one of the reasons why this soundstage is so unique. The other reason is unlike most soundstages that are just giant, empty, soundproof warehouses, this one was created to look like a subway. Do it. Okay. Oh, we have somehow triggered the mechanical effect that I was literally just telling you about. Is that a truck? Jeez. Okay. Alright, we gotta find this thing out. Again, everybody stay seated, remain calm, nobody freak out. It's over. Oh, not the water, Is everyone okay? You all alright? Yeah? You doing okay, Cartoon? How you doing? You good? Yes? Okay. TJ's fine. Alright. Well, congratulations. You just survived Earthquake, the big one. Yay! That was an 8.3 earthquake on the Richter scale. And it was featured on the Fox show Bones, starring Emily Deschanel and David Boreanaz. going on? See, folks, it's like your television stars, right? That was a little traumatic for me. I want to go someplace to calm my nerves. See, usually when I need a little me time, head on over to Amity Island. It's a beachfront property we have here. It's really nice and peaceful. Just a great place for self-care. Okay, full disclosure, we did have a shark issue. But as you can see, I caught them, I strung them up, and I left them up there as a reminder of all these little shark friends not to mess with us. When you go biting people, you gotta say, that's the what's that by looking at? Oh no. Wait, is that George? Hey, George, swim away, there's another shark. Oh, ew, Everyone please stay seated, we don't keep it moving here. Although TJ, how do we stop behind these things? Okay, we'll go see it. Steven Spielberg shark, Bruce. Renamed after his attorney, Bruce. And if you're a fan of the movie Finding Nemo, you might remember the shark was named Bruce. That was to pay tribute to movie Jaws. So our shark works wonderfully. Steven Spielberg shark, not so much. They did test it out. They put it inside of the tank, filled the tank up with fresh water, everything went swimmingly. Then, on the first day of filming, they took it out to the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and it sunk to the bottom. That's because the ocean isn't made out of fresh water. It's made out of salt water. You have to factor that in if you're going to build a mechanical shark.
That's a much maligned shark. The shark was frustrated. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all.
Wherever we were on the island, here the radio was. And we're always saying, the shark is not working. Repeat, the shark is not working.
We just waited around. We just waited and waited. The shark worked well enough for a while there, and then it was over. So I really shark a lot.
The majority of Jaws filmed on the East Coast in Martha's Vineyard. But another production did film in our Amity Island area. Murder, She Wrote. That was Cabot Cove. In fact, it still says Cabot Cove right there on the dock. Right now we're driving around several more residential sets. On your right-hand side is the Chicken Ranch. First created for the musical, The Best Little House in Texas, starring Burt Reynolds and Dolly Parton. As we make our way around the bench, you'll notice half of the house built next to it. We created that for the television show about a boy. So now if you film at the Chicken Ranch, it's like they have neighbors. But their actual neighbors are located back on your left-hand side on Colonial Street. And for a while, they were very desperate housewives. That's because Colonial Street was Wisteria Lane and ABC's Desperate Housewives. The many productions have filmed on Colonial Street throughout the years. 1313 Mockingbird Lane, the home of the Munsters, is located on that street. The Netflix show Never Have I Ever, that's their neighborhood. Right now, a top secret production I'm not allowed to tell you anything about is prepping to film here. If you see a commercial that takes place in a suburb or on a cul-de-sac, it's usually a good chance it was actually filmed on Colonial Street. A well-constructed set like Colonial Street in order to be used for filming. Every nook and cranny of this backlot is fair game, including the streets we're driving up right now. If you look closely at the trees, maybe you'll recognize them from the Netflix hit Bird Box. Desperate Housewives from a car crash scene right here. So did the Fox show 911 starring Miss Angela Bassett. And what do we need to create a car crash scene? More picture cars. The drivers of those cars, they all made the same odd choice. They all decided to park behind the Bates Motel and Psycho House from Alfred Hitchcock's classic thriller, Psycho. Wouldn't be me, would not be me. Basis on. Listen, be cool. Alright, we got this. Hey, hi. Hi Norman, how you doing today? How about this weather, right? You staying dry? Really? Really, Norman? We can't even have a conversation. You just won't choose violence, right? I'm so sorry, y'all. Ignore him. Been dealing with other issues for decades now. Instead, taking the fact that we just entered one of the most impressive sets in Hollywood history. This is the crash site from Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Steven had.
And for them to sit down to talk about War of the World, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep your eyes on me. Eyes on me. Listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay?
Thanks.
Now closed.
Slowly.
Robbie, get in. Get in.
War of the Worlds, directed by Steven Spielberg. So this is a great example of how one scene can be filmed in two different places. If it's done right, the audience has absolutely no idea. So the first part of the scene where the family is running into the house to seek refuge, that was done in an actual neighborhood in New Jersey, right? They ran into someone's actual house. But then when they needed to show the aftermath, what are they gonna do? Destroy people's homes? Can't do that. So instead, they flew back across the country, came here, recreated that entire neighborhood, only to look destroyed. And then they finished the second half of that scene. You edit it together, and it makes sense, but it took two sides of the country to make it happen. Now this is a real 747 Boeing airplane that was bought and destroyed just for this set. It cost them about $60,000 to buy it, not bad for an entire airplane. The reason why they're able to get it for such a deal is because when every airplane reaches a certain mileage, it's automatically retired. So this one was retired in an airplane graveyard in the Mojave Desert. So they picked it up for a measly $60,000. It did cost them over $200,000 to get it here though. Once they did, it took them 3 months to build this set. They filmed on it for a week, and it's in 4 minutes of the movie. But Steven Spielberg wanted realism, and Steven Spielberg gets what Steven Spielberg wants, because he is one of Universal's favorite directors to work with. He considers this his creative birthplace.
When I was about, 16 years old, and I began hanging out at Universal during my summers. We went to college nearby. I continued to come on the lot and try to become a director. Universal sort of is my birthplace. This is the place I consider my first home, and I love it here. And I keep coming back.
it was a Steven Spielberg. Alfred Hitchcock was that guy.
Lou said he could move into that office. I said, no, I can never be in Hitchcock's office. That should be a shrine, a museum.
Very exciting, just to know that he was there and walk by and know he was in that office.
Hitchcock has influenced every director.
I saw Hitchcock once walking around the commissary.
Hitchcock had his bungalow on the lot. I used to go see Alfred Hitchcock.
I loved working with him. I highly respect him. He really understood fear and terror. The Birds, that was a really scary movie.
The Birds? Oh, man. That had me looking at crows like for the next 10 years.
Psycho, of course. Very good. One of the all-time great masterpieces. Hitchcock was masterful.
Now, why do we love these directors so much? It's because they're talented, they take risks, and they help us win awards.
I'm not bad. No. I'm not.
We'll have poetry in my life. And adventure.
And I'm great with people. I have kids. Learned a lot from them.
You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view.
Even good. Good. I'm the one that's the beat. I'll go my own way.
And I say, we have got to give them hope.
I dreamed a dream, time gone by.
I wonder what you are going to do. I'm going.
new name to our list of favorite directors, and that name is Jordan Peele. We're about to enter the actual set used in his newest movie, Nope, which is streaming on Peacock until March 17th.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky G. Park. Over there, look into the winking room and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Share. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Why? A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso Experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. Not looking so live. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy on the West Frontier town lies a sinister secret. It is smack dab in the center of the UFO hotspot. What's a bad miracle? You're about to find out. Welcome to the world.
tour. So for the very last time, I'll remind you to please remain seated. And if you need my assistance, pull the red emergency cord. I'll come back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Folks, we are making a bit of a deep tour here. Everything's fine. Well, alright, here's the thing. So TJ and I, we just got back from Vegas. We had a lot of fun, good times, but we saw a few things we probably shouldn't have. And now some guy named Shaw is after us, and the FBI wants us for questioning. But look, it is under control, okay? My buddy Hobbs said that he and his crew will help us out. We're just gonna meet them here inside of Sullivan's truck repair. They'll take care of it. We'll get you back to the theme park safely. Just keep your eye out for our contacts, Ruben Pierce.
Hey, yo! They just got here. All right, I got it. Well, listen, hello, beautiful people, particularly you right there missing the third row. How you doing? You good? My name is Roman Pierce. Pleased to meet you. My buddy Hobbs asked us to stash you in Shaw for a while. So we brought you in our secret spot. We're having a few friends over. It's a little messy, but it's all good. The more the merrier. Especially you right there in that third row, like I was saying. So look, see over there? It's Hobbs' urban assault vehicle. Best truck the U.S. government can buy. But that work of art back over there is made by my man Tej. Think of it as like a Mona Lisa on wheels. Extra.
So did you break it down to them?
What's that?
You had one job to do, Roman, one. All right, look, guys, we're gonna keep Shaw from finding you, but to keep you safe, we need your help. We don't want the syndicate tracking us here, so put away your cameras and turn off your cell phones. One flash or one ringtone could give us away.
I need y'all to take this real serious.
Okay, pull into the next bay and we'll meet you in there.
So like I was saying, the third row, right?
All right, we get it. Keep it moving. Goodness. All right, everyone, you heard Letty. Make sure the flash is off of your cameras and your phones, okay? We don't want to draw any more attention to ourselves than we already have. Once we get the signal, we'll be heading into the next bay. I don't know, it sounds like something's going on over there, so we just have to do our best to blend in. Well, there it is. That's the signal. Let's do it.
FBI, don't move. Damn, that's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not.
You're under arrest right now.
Ladies, just back up a little bit. Got it. Slightly. First of all, I don't work for you.
Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. I suggest you clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun.
Never mind, a whole lot bigger than yours. Escort this novice out. Let's go, Cookie Puss. Got an ugly suit on, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family will protect you.
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone, bro?
I gotta call you back. I'm in the middle of something.
See what I'm talking about?
Call you back.
Man.
It was on vibrate. Shaw traced us. Ops can't hold him forever. Letty, Roman, we're up. Driver, move that vehicle. It's about to get real interesting. Well, Mona Lisa's all warmed up right next door. Roman, run your truck. I need you and Letty ready to roll.
Everyone, you know those 3D glasses? They double as protective eyewear. You 3D glasses. Let's try to stay as quiet as we possibly can.
Which one of you is the witness? Speak now or you all get fried!
This is our turn.
Give it up for Supercharged. Was that Fast and Furious or what?
Hell of a job, everybody. You protected the witness and you can resume breathing.
You know it's crazy out there. You gotta drive hard. Respect.
You know, my Mona Lisa got messed up a little bit, but it's all good. We got through it. Y'all held us down. Appreciate it.
They say the bigger the family, the stronger it is. You guys did good out there. And you're welcome to join our crew anytime.
And with that, it is time to wrap up the tour. On behalf of myself, Danny, our driver TJ, and everybody here at FDC Universal, I'd like to thank you so much for taking this tour with us. We hope you enjoyed your exclusive behind-the-scenes look at some of Hollywood's hottest filming locations. To purchase the NBC Universal movies and TV shows you've seen throughout the tour, visit www.uphd.com or ask one of our retail stores today. And make sure you've downloaded the Universal Studios Hollywood app, where you can confirm the park closes today at 9 p.m., see show times for Waterworld, check wait times for rides and attractions, and get details for visiting Super Nintendo World. Make sure you gather up all of your belongings and watch your step as you exit the tram. Those steps are going to be slippery. Then head on over to our Universal box office to find out how you can upgrade your ticket to an annual pass so you can come back again and again and again. Enjoy the rest of your day here at Universal Studios Hollywood, the entertainment capital of LA.